So one of the first reasons as to why new business owners end up closing down in the first few years of them starting, and by the way, none of these mistakes or obstacles are in any particular order. I'm just going to be going through them one by one. But the first one that I'm going to be discussing is lack of research. Now, when I say lack of research, what I mean is that a lot of people decide to start a business because they go on social media, they see people driving nice cars, wearing nice clothes, and because of that, they want to start the exact same business that that person's doing. And they don't necessarily give themselves time to do enough research to figure out whether or not that business is even good for them. They just see someone else doing it, making money from it, and then the very next day, they try and start that business themselves. But over the years of me running various different online businesses, I've learned that for you to be able to succeed or give yourself the best chance of succeeding with any online business, you need to make sure that you've put in a considerable amount of research before you start that business yourself. Now, you don't necessarily need to put months or years before you start, but you need to at least make sure that you understand the foundations and the fundamentals of that particular business model before you get into it. Because if you haven't done the necessary research to see whether or not that particular way of making money matches your personality or whether or not you have the right skill sets to succeed, then within a couple months of you starting, you're going to end up quitting. And I've seen this with so many people. They don't put the right amount of time in to do the right amount of research. And there's so many different ways that you could do research in this day and age. Like, for example, you can watch YouTube videos like what you're doing right now. Or what you could do is that you could buy a book on the particular business model that you're trying to start. As you can see, I've got a lot of books behind me. Another way that you could do research is by watching podcasts, listening to audiobooks, or you can buy a course. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily like to buy courses because they believe that the person that's selling a course is trying to make money, which is somewhat true, but there's a lot of people that are selling courses out there that want to shorten the learning curve for people that are trying to get into that particular business. It's always good for you to learn from someone that's ahead of you, someone that's gone through it, someone that can walk you through the path. And I always tell people that one of the biggest benefits of buying a course before you start is that you're going to be able to see whether or not that particular business is something that you want to put even more time into. So that's one of the first reasons as to why most people fail when it comes to starting up their business, is due to the fact that they don't do the necessary research before they start. Moving on to one of the second reasons as to why new startups fail is due to the fact that they run out of money. So one of the skills that you're going to need to learn as a new business owner is managing your cash flow. You're going to need to know exactly when to spend money, when to keep money on the sides for things like paying yourself, paying your employees, buying supplies, buying stock. If you don't learn this skill early on in your journey, it's going to be a lot difficult as you start to build up your business. Like, for example, with my own e-commerce business, as you guys know, I sell on platforms like eBay, Shopify, and Amazon, and I need to know exactly when to buy stock. I need to know when to look at my stock levels, see what's going low, see what stock I have a lot of. I need to know exactly how to manage my stock levels so that I'm going to be able to manage my cash flow. And this is something that a lot of new business owners don't think about when they first start their business. If you're able to understand this basic business principle in the early days of starting your own journey, you're going to be able to last longer than those that don't really have a full understanding of it, because most people these days just want to start a business just so that they can show off to their friends and family, or just to make it seem like they're self-employed and that they're an entrepreneur, when realistically there's a lot of fundamental lessons that you're going to need to apply to your business if you want to be around for the long term. And running out of money is one of the most common reasons as to why new startups fail. So moving on to the third reason, which is due to bad partnerships. Most people, when they start their company, what they tend to do is get into business with their friends or their family, but they don't necessarily look at the skill sets of that particular person that they're getting into business with. And I've seen this again with countless amounts of people around me. Two people will get together to start a business, but each of them may have the same skill set, or two people may get into business together and none of them have the necessary skill sets to grow that business that they're trying to do. Now, for me personally, when it comes to starting new businesses, I just prefer on doing everything myself and then hiring the necessary people to do certain tasks, whether it's customer service, whether it's bookkeeping, whether it's wherever I need in the business. I'd rather just hire the necessary people. I don't really like to get into partnerships because I know that I'd rather just do everything myself in the beginning, and then down the line, if I ever need to bring someone on to help me run the business, that's the point where I'll now partner up with someone. Because I believe that if you start a business from day one with a partner, it's going to be a little bit difficult as you start to scale up the business, because one of the partners may end up not wanting to do that business anymore. And because you've been reliant on running that business with someone else, it's going to be difficult for you to carry everything yourself. So my advice to anyone out there that's looking to start a business, if you can do it yourself, or maybe you work better with yourself, it might be better for you to focus on doing everything yourself from day one so that you can have a full understanding of exactly how that particular business works. Because I did everything myself with my eBay store when I first started it, I now have a full understanding of how eBay works as a platform, how to ship out orders, how to contact suppliers, how to generally run my eBay business. And because of that, I've now been able to grow my business to over 7 figures in sales. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that if you partner up with someone, your business is destined to fail. You just need to make sure that the person that you're going to partner up with has the right skills And you also need to make sure that that person's going to be in it for the long run, because as I already said, you don't want to partner up with someone and then 5 months down the line, 6 months down the line, as you start to get sales, that person now says that they're bored of the business and they want to go work a 9-to-5 job. And now you're in a position where you're trying to find the right person to fill that person's role, when really you should be putting your attention on growing the sales, bringing more profit into the business. So moving on to the final reason that I'm going to discuss in this video why companies end up shutting down after a few months of them starting is because the owners quit too soon. So this is something that I've seen countless amounts of times with so many different people with so many different business models, whether they're trying to start a YouTube channel, an eBay business, Shopify dropshipping business, a crypto business. They start it one day, do it for a couple months, do it for a couple weeks, and then they move on to the next thing. And this is a mistake that I made myself at the start of my own entrepreneurial journey. I would start something, do it for a week, do it for a month, realize that it's not as easy as what I thought, and then I'd move on to the next thing, and I kept doing that process over and over again until it got to the point that I realized that for me to achieve the goals that I'm trying to achieve, I need a certain level of laser focus and discipline until I reach the goals that I'm trying to reach. So even if I reach some sort of obstacle, or even if I come across some sort of hurdle, I need to keep going. If I truly believe that I'm capable of succeeding in that particular business model, I can't just quit too soon. I need to make sure that I try every possible thing before completely giving up. And if we just focus on the e-commerce business for the moment, because I know that's the reason why majority of you guys watch my channel, a lot of you guys that are on your own e-commerce journey may feel like giving up for a number of different reasons. Maybe because you've tried to contact suppliers to get prices for a particular product that you want to sell, but maybe you feel like the product that you're trying to sell, the price is too high for you to make a profit. Or maybe you just feel like there's a lot of competition, or maybe you feel like the fees on the platform that you're trying to sell on are too high and you can't make a profit. Or you might feel like you don't have space in your house for you to import stock and sell it, so you're trying to do drop shipping, but now you're getting into some sort of confusion with that and you don't know what step to take. With any online business that you decide on starting, you're always going to come across a reason as to why you should give up. But the thing that makes me keep going is that I always ask myself, is someone else successful with what I'm trying to do? And if the answer is yes, then there's no real reason for me to give up. Like, take this YouTube channel for example. When I first started it, everyone told me that I wasn't going to succeed. There was no point in doing it. The market was too crowded. No one's going to want to watch me because there's other people giving eBay, Shopify, and Amazon advice, so there was no point. And at the most amount of subscribers that I might get to is around 100, maybe 200 subscribers. But I knew that I had it in me to get to 1,000 subscribers, 5,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, 20,000 subscribers. And now I believe I have it in me to get to 30,000 subscribers. So it's all about knowing what you can achieve. And that goes the same way with an e-commerce business. When I first started my eBay store, I felt like there was no point in continuing because the categories that I was trying to sell in was so crowded, and there was multiple different times where I felt like there was no point in continuing. But because I kept persevering, I've been able to make over £1.3 million now with one of my eBay stores. So always remember that this is one of the most common reasons why new business owners end up failing in the first year, is because they quit too soon, they tell themselves that they can't do it, they tell themselves that it's not possible for them to achieve it. But if there's another human out there that's living the life that you see yourself living, then that means that you can also do it too. So those are some of the reasons why I believe that new businesses end up failing in the first few years of them starting. And if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to press the like button, don't forget to subscribe as well. Hit the bell notification so that YouTube can let you know when a new video has been released. And if you want to watch another video that I made not too long ago where I break down 5 steps that you need to take when it comes to starting your e-commerce business, I'm going to leave that video right there. Make sure you check that video out straight after this one because it's helped out so many people. Or if you'd rather watch a webinar where I go through my personal story when it came to starting up my eBay business, the things that I needed to learn, the things that I needed to do, the obstacles that I faced when it came to me growing my business to over $3,000 per day in sales, I'm going to leave that down below. It's going to be the first link. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you stay safe out there. Peace.